Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday, September 17th. We are on lesson 10 today in our module 1 of Wit and Wisdom. It's our last day talking about the little yellow leaf. So we're working on writing for the rest of this week. Today's lesson is about self-assessment on our writing. And I know that we are not finished yet with your writing activity, but I want you to watch Miss Sabella and see how she's doing it. I think that it will help you with your writing to make sure that you have a topic statement and 3 pieces of evidence and that you use the sequence words. Okay, so we're going to watch her, how she self-assesses herself, and I'm hoping that it will help you with your writing. So what you're going to do for today, we're going to do one thing in our journal. We're going to do what I know and what I can do. And then the rest of the time, I want you to work on your writing so that Friday we can talk about your writing activities. And hopefully I can meet with some of you individually if we get a chance. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can watch the video. And I hope this is going to work, because I'm using a different computer today. All right, here we go.
Welcome back, friends. I'm Sue Sabella, your Great Minds teacher, and I'm excited to continue to learn and grow with you today. Let's see what we need to get ready to learn. Today you'll need the little yellow leaf, handout 13A, which is the informative writing checklist, assessment 13, your focusing question task 2, your journal, and your pencil. Please pause to gather what you need and just hit the play button when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so remember, guys, we are not doing this actually today. We're just watching. So the only thing that you're going to need today is your digital copy of the little yellow leaf, your knowledge and response journal, and a pencil.
Today we're going to take some time to reflect, which means to look back on how much you've grown, how much you now know, and also what you can do now. In addition to reflecting, we're also going to set a goal. Today we're going to set a goal as a writer. What can you do to make your writing even stronger? The author used words and illustrations to share a central message with us about change. How did this text build your knowledge of change? Let's do some thinking about what you now know and what you can do.
Okay, so remember, guys, that when you're writing about what you now know, you are writing about this question. How did this text build your knowledge of change? So what do you now know about change? Okay.
Let's do some thinking about what you now know and what you can do. You're able to think about these 2 things and also to collect your thoughts in your journal. You can use the T-chart that we developed before when we read How Do You Know It's Fall? Or if your chart is all filled up, you can create a new chart in your journal. My chart was just getting started, so I'm going to continue to add to my chart here. I'm going to start in the left-hand column with what I know. And I'm going to think about, what do I know now after reading the little yellow leaf? And specifically, what do I now know about change? Little scarlet leaf made little yellow leaf feel a little bit braver to stop clinging to that branch and to let go and to soar. That makes me think that friends make change easier. Scarlet leaf helped little yellow leaf make a change just by being a friend. Now I can also think about what I can do now after reading and thinking and practicing, specifically with story stones and thinking about the story elements as I read The Little Yellow Leaf. Because I thought about the story elements and practiced with the story elements and the story stones, I can now locate the problem in the story. Locate means to find. So this means I can now find the problem in the story. This is a skill that I can do now. So now it's your turn to keep going.
Okay, so what you are going to do, I'm going to unshare my screen so you can see me. You are going to get out your knowledge response journal or your response knowledge journal, and we're going to turn to page 16. Okay, we are on page 16 today, and this is what you're going to put on the top, just like what Miss Sabella's screen says, and I'm going to show it back to you in just a minute. You're going to write today's date, 9/17. You're going to write the title of the story, The Little Yellow Leaf, and then you're going to write what I know and what I can do. And I would like for you to do this. You're going to pause the video, get this on your chart paper on page 16, and then I want you to take a few minutes and think of something that you now know about change. And then think of something that you now can do as a reader or a writer. And Miss Sabella gave us a good clue. She said that I can now locate the problem in the story. Well, what are the other story elements, guys? There were the characters, the setting, the problem, and the resolution. So we worked on all 4 of those. So there is 4 really good ideas right there about how you were able to locate something, one of those 4, in the story. And on my chart, I'll give you a little hint about what I wrote. On my chart, I wrote, I know that it is okay to be afraid, but I have to try. That's talking about change, right? When I'm afraid to do things, but I still try them anyway, that's about change. I know that doing things with friends makes it easier. Okay? And then what I can do, I can find the setting of a story, or I can identify the characters of a story. So those are all some things that I now know about change from studying The Little Yellow Leaf. And these are all things that I can do now after working in The Little Yellow Leaf and studying the contents. So you're going to pause the video now. You're going to fill in your chart just how Miss Sabella has it, but don't forget the title at the top, please. And you're going to come up with at least one thing you know and one thing you can do. I would like for you to try for 2, but if you can only come up with 1, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to put the screen back up so that you can see what you need to write. Pause the video, and then when you are ready to move on, you can hit play.
Pause here to find your T-chart in your journal that you'd like to continue on, or pause here to create a new T-chart in your journal. On the left side, you'll title it, What I Know, and on the right side, you'll write What I Can Do. Pause here to create your chart, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue. Writers always review their writing to make sure that it's clear. The informative writing checklist can help you review your writing so you can make it even stronger. Let's take a quick peek at the informative writing checklist just to see how it's set up to support you as a writer. You probably noticed that there are 3 columns. The first column on the left is very wide because it holds a lot of information. The second column as you move to the right is titled Self. This is the column that you'll be using when you are reviewing your own writing. The last column all the way to the right is for your classroom teacher. Let's practice with the checklist together before you try one on your own. We're going to narrow down the focus on our checklist to focus on what we've been practicing. We've been practicing with topic statement, gathering 3 pieces of evidence and including them in our writing, and also using sequencing or linking words to connect our evidence together. I'll pretend that I'm a student, so I'll be filling out the informational writing checklist the same way that you would. I'll be using the column in the middle that's titled Self. The first thing that I'll check the paragraph for is the topic statement. The checklist says that I should introduce the topic with a topic statement. I'd like you to pause here to read over my paragraph to make sure that I have a topic statement that introduces my paragraph. So pause here for as long as you need to, and then hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so the paragraph says, the tree changes from late.
My paragraph does have a topic statement.
And this did it to me earlier today. I don't know why it keeps doing it right in this spot. Okay, pause. The tree changes from late fall to winter. At first, it's fall, and most of the leaves are brown and orange and are on the ground. Then, the apples grow musky and ripe, and the leaves on the ground get dry and crackly. Finally, the branches are completely bare and covered with a shimmer of snow. So let's look at this paragraph. Is there a sentence anywhere that tells us what all the other sentences are going to be about? I think that this first sentence right here, the tree changes from late fall to winter, that tells me that the rest of the paragraph, how the tree changes between fall and winter. And the rest of this talks about how the leaves are brown and orange, some are on the ground, the leaves get dry and crackly, and then the branches are completely bare. So all 3 of these do talk about how the tree changes from late fall to winter. Let's go back to Miss Sabella.
My paragraph does have a topic statement, and I underline that topic statement in green to remind me that the evidence is combined to make the topic statement. This topic statement tells the readers right away what this paragraph will be about. Since I do have a topic statement that introduces the topic for the paragraph, I went back to my informative writing checklist and I put a plus sign. The plus sign shows that this is something that I included in my informational paragraph. Now I'm moving on to the next line in my checklist. I need to make sure that I have at least 3 sentences with evidence.
Okay, so if we look, remember I said that these 3 sentences, they do support how the tree changes from fall to winter.
So I need your help. I'd like you to pause here to read over my paragraph and make sure I have 3 sentences with evidence. Once you have a chance to read and maybe even reread the paragraph to make sure I have enough evidence, just hit play to continue.
Okay, so we kind of just did that. We said the topic statement was the tree changes from late fall to winter. So let's look at the next sentence. At first, it's fall, and most of the leaves are brown and orange and are on the ground. Well, that says most of the leaves. That doesn't mean all of the leaves. So maybe we still have some green leaves on that tree, and they haven't fallen off yet. So that tells us how the tree looks in the fall. Then the apples grow musky and ripe, and the leaves on the ground get dry and crackly. Okay, so now we have the brown and orange leaves on the ground have become dry and crackly. So that tells me how it has changed in the fall. That's 2 sentences so far. Finally, the branches are completely bare and covered with a shimmer of snow. Well, this one is saying that the branches are completely bare now. There are no leaves at all, whether they're green or yellow or orange. So that is the third sentence that shows me how the tree has changed from fall to winter.
There are 3 pieces of evidence in this paragraph, and that evidence supports the topic. Since I did include 3 sentences with evidence, I went back to the self column and I added a plus sign next to that item in the checklist. The next and the last thing I need to check for on my checklist today is that I use sequencing words, first, then, and finally, in the correct order in this informational paragraph. So pause here to read over my paragraph and to check for those sequencing words. And just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so we're going to look for the word first. We're going to look for the word first. I don't see it yet. There it is. There's the word first right there at first. So she used first. Now we're going to look for the word then. Yell out when you see it. Tell me to stop when you see it. There it is. Good job. There's the word then. Now we're looking for the word finally. There's the word finally. All right, so she used the word first, then, and finally.
I did use the sequencing words first, then, and finally, and I did put them in the correct order in the paragraph. Thanks for your help. Since I did include the sequencing words and I used them in the correct order, I put a plus sign right next to that item in the checklist, and I made sure to put it in the self column. Since you're such a good observer, you probably noticed that we reread the paragraph each time there was a new item on the checklist. You probably also observed that it was much easier to use the checklist in a very thoughtful way if I only focused on one item at a time. I think you're ready now. Now it's your turn. You'll be using the informative writing checklist to review your own piece of informational writing. What I'd like you to do right now is to complete the checklist. And then if you find an area where you put a triangle because you did not see that in your paragraph yet, you can take time to revise your paragraph or to add something to your paragraph to make it even stronger. And then we're going to come back together to work on a writing goal. I'm going to go off to the side so you can pause to work. This might be a long, extended pause because you'll be completing your checklist and you'll also be revising your paragraph. So take as much time as you need and just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so you do not have this. Remember, I said we are not actually doing this today because your paragraph is not finished yet because I just assigned it to you yesterday. We just wanted to watch how Miss Sabella does it because I wanted it to help you understand a little bit more what you were supposed to be doing with your writing. What I want you to do today is I want you to please finish your writing activity, okay? It's really only 4 sentences, guys. The topic sentence, the topic statement, evidence piece 1, 2, and 3. 4 sentences, okay? I want you to try to get it done today so that tomorrow you can turn it in to me and I can go through it and tell you what you did wonderfully and what we need to work on, okay? All right, so we're going to watch how Miss Sabella as a writing goal because you were going to add that onto the bottom of your chart for today. Okay, so let's watch and see what she says.
When I wrote my paragraph for the very first time, I did not include the word finally when I shared my last piece of evidence. And when I reviewed my paragraph and I saw the checklist reminded me that I needed to include that word. So I decided that I would work on that as a writer, and that became my goal. My goal is I will use the word finally when I'm sharing my last piece of evidence. Now it's your turn to write a goal for yourself. Take a look at your checklist and look at where you have triangles. Think about which area would you like to work on next? Which area, if you work on it, will help to make your writing stronger? If you'd like to, discuss this with your learning partner, or you can also touch base with your classroom teacher. Pause here, and it might be for a while, to think about and to write your goal. And just hit play when you're ready to wrap up our video lesson.
Okay, so you are going to go to page 17. We're just going to go ahead and use a whole new page for this. And you're going to write across the top, my writing goal is. Because it doesn't have to be like anything huge, okay? Like Miss Sabella just wanted to make sure she used the word finally for her last piece of evidence. Maybe you decided that you need to use punctuation. Maybe you decide you need to make sure you have a capital letter at the beginning of each sentence. Or you want to make sure that you use the word at first or then. Or you want to make sure that you have a topic statement. Those are all ways that you can make a writing goal. Okay, so remember on page 16, you're going to finish your what I know and what I can do. And then on page 17, you're going to tell me what your writing goal is. Okay, and then when you get this done, you're going to take a picture and post it onto the Google slide that I provide for you. Okay. So those are your two things. There are two things today, and finish that writing activity. All right, so let's listen to how Miss Sabella is going to wrap up our lesson for today.
All writers have the power to make their writing stronger, especially when we use helpful tools like checklists. I will see you real soon, powerful writers.
Okay, so that was the end of our video lesson. What I may need you to do today, we're going to take a question set. We're going to do a question set on Little Yellow Leaf. Okay, so it's module 1, question set 4. You're going to open up your digital copy of the Little Yellow Leaf, and you're going to open up to the beginning of the book and start reading the first page that says it was autumn. And then you're going to stop on the next page after you read as a riot of fiery leaves chased and swirled around the tree. Okay? Then you're going to turn to the end of the story, and then you're going to read, and 1, 2, 3, they let go and soared. And then you're going to stop at the word together. Okay? So you have 4 questions. The first thing you need to do is type your first and last name. There are several of you on here that have the same first name, okay? So I need you to write your first and last name, or at least your first name and your last initial, okay? Question 1, read these sentences from the passage. And 1, 2, 3, they let go and soared. Into the waiting wind they danced. What does the word soared mean? Floated out, fell down, held on, or stayed still? What is the best way to describe the little yellow leaf at the beginning of the story? He is ready to join the other leaves. He is falling like a snowflake. He is all alone on an oak tree. He has not yet turned yellow. What does the little yellow leaf do at the end of the story? He stays on the branch. He dances on the branch. He changes his color, or he lets go of the tree. Okay. And the last question. What is the central message of this story? Change is easy for everyone. Being alone makes it easier to change. Change is tough, but a friend can help. Or one change always leads to another. So you're going to complete that quiz today as well. Okay, so far you've got 4 things to do today. A question set to take quickly. You're going to do at least, I'm going to make sure you can see me. Make sure you at least do one thing that you know and one thing that you can do, at least one of each on page 16. On page 17, you're going to tell me what your writing goal is, and then you are going to finish your writing activity that is in the Google Classroom. And let me show you again where it's at in case you have forgotten. So if we go to the Google Classroom, let me go to the right one. I'm in the wrong class. Okay, you're going to go to classwork. You're going to go to Wit and Wisdom Week 5. Okay, here's the question set already ready for you. Journal response question. Okay, this was from yesterday. Here is what I need you to absolutely finish today. Focusing question task, the little yellow leaf. Okay, lots and lots of details on here. Here is a copy of what you need to have, but it's also right here, and I'm telling you even how much each one is worth. They're all worth 10 points. So this activity is worth 70 points, guys, 70. And then after you finish writing it, okay, remember you're going to be on page 15 in your journal to write it. You're going to take a picture, and then you're going to upload it into the Google slide, okay? And try to, when you put it in here, like I'm just going to upload something real fast so I can show you. Let me try it again. So I'm going to just put a picture in here. So like say this is my writing, and I'm going to insert it. I want to make sure that it's big enough that I can read it, okay? So like stretch out that picture and make it big enough for me to read, all right? Sometimes I struggle seeing some of your writings. So those are the things you're going to do today. You're going to finish your focusing question task, okay? You're going to tell me one thing you know and one thing you can do after studying change and the little yellow leaf. You're going to tell me what your writing goal is, and you're going to finish the question set. Okay, so that is the end of our lesson. That's all I've got for you to do today. So I hope you have a great Thursday afternoon, and I will see you soon for phonics. All right, bye guys.